Hey there, this is Chad Garber, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to play Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You by Led Zeppelin. There are about 4 parts, and kind of variations of those 4 parts. Here they are. And then there's there's and then that's the whole song. And so if you like this video and videos like this, please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay, let's get into this. Alright, so it's in the key of A minor, and you're starting off with an A minor chord. And that's, you got your pointer finger on the first set of the first fret of the G string, you got your middle finger on the second fret of the D string, and you got your ring finger on the second fret of the G string. Okay, then you're going to take you're going to do some finger picking with your right hand. You're going to take your thumb, put it on the open A string, and pick down and pluck that with your thumb. So yeah, so you're going to do that, and then you're going to take your ring finger and your pointer finger and pick the D string. You're going to take your middle finger and pick the G string. Then you're going to take your ring finger, you're going to skip the B string, and you're going to pick the high E. And by the way, I think I've said this before on these finger picking things. A lot of people will try to use their pinky to hold their hands in where it's supposed to be. But what I recommend is using your wrist on the guitar. This is how you get that leverage to be able to get your fingers in and out. I used to always wonder, how the heck do they do that? And then I did this, and it would make total sense because it would prevent me from getting too close. But I figured out that this way it gives you more flexibility in the fingers. So anyway, so that's just a little pointer. And so again, so it's, and you're going to do that, and you're going to repeat that again. Except you're gonna repeat the first 3, so you're gonna go A, G, A, D, G, E. And the second time you're gonna go the same thing. You're gonna go pick the A string with your thumb, pick the D string with your pointer finger, pick the G string with your middle finger, and then pick the B string this time with your ring finger. So it's. And you got to practice it for a while to get it smooth. It's important to get it smooth though, so if you want to go slow, you should do that. And this is really the whole finger picking of the entire song as far as all the finger picking technique goes. And there's I'll show you the different notes and chords he hits, but that's the whole gist of it. Gist of it. So I'm not going to keep on. I'm not going to tell you exactly all the fingering of the entire song, just so because it's basically the. Okay, so anyway, so that's the first one. And then you take your, when you're on the A minor chord, you take your ring finger and leave your pointer finger on the first fret of the G. Leave your middle finger on the second fret of the D. This time you're going to take your ring finger and put it on the third fret of the E though this time. So, okay. And then you're going to take your pinky and put that on the third fret of the B string. So you're doing this chord. So as far as finger picking, you're going to go. You're going to pick the low E this time. You're going to skip the A. Use your pointer finger to pick the D. Your middle finger to hit the G. And then you're going to use your ring finger to hit the B. And you're going to do that. You're going to do that. And then you're going to do it again. This time you're going to remove your pinky from the third fret of the B. So it's okay. So you see it's the same progression with the fingers. Sometimes you'll change the strings you're on and you'll change the note, but it's the same general feel. So, you know, it's kind of like back and forth with Jimmy Page. He does a little bit, you know, he just kind of repeats things, get back and forth, and it creates some cool things. So anyway, so that's the second one. Then you're going to take your, middle finger, put it on the second fret of the E. You're going to take your ring finger, put it on the second fret of the G. And then you're going to put your pinky on the third fret of the B again. Okay, then you're going to pick with your thumb on the E, pointer finger on the D, middle finger on the G, and ring finger on the B. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to take your pinky off this time and then just play the open G instead on the second time around. So see that? Then you're going to do this next chord. You put your pointer finger on the first fret of the E. Put your middle finger on the first fret of the B, and then put your ring finger on the second fret of the G. And then you're just going to do, you pick with your thumb on the E, your pointer finger on the A, the D. So thumb on the E, pointer finger on the D, middle finger on the G, and then your ring finger on the B again. You're just going to do it once this time, though. You're not going to do it. You're just going to go. Then you're going to do the same thing, same exact finger configuration, this time doing an E major chord. And that's open. Put your pointer finger on the first fret of the G string. Put your middle finger on the second fret of the A, and your ring finger on the second fret of the D. So it's then it starts over again. And then the next time he does the same thing generally. This time, he puts his pinky on the high, when he gets back to the A minor, he puts his pinky on the third, or at least I put my pinky on the third fret of the high E. And do that. So pluck the A with your thumb, the D with your pointer finger, the G with your middle finger, and then the high E with your ring finger. Then he does it again the second time, the second round, which I'm calling it, because the first one is, there's two rounds, he kind of goes back and forth. Alright, so the second time he does that, he just takes his pinky off the 3rd fret of the E. It just hits the E. I think open. So it's, and then he goes to the 2nd chord. Again, so on this particular time, and there's a lot of these you gotta listen to because there's lots of little different variations he does. But this, the 2nd time around, he goes. And that's the same thing. He does that E, P, and that's the 2nd chord. And he does the G when you put your pointer, your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the E, and your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D, and your pointer finger on the 1st fret of the G, of the B. And you got, so you got your pinky on the 3rd fret of the high E, and your thumb A or thumb E, pointer finger D, middle finger G, and your ring finger E. Yeah. So then the next chord, that is the next chord. So so you do that again. You put your pinky on the 3rd fret of the E again on the 2nd chord as well as the 1st one. Do the exact same thing, and then you take your pinky off and do the exact same configuration with the finger. So it's. See that? And then he goes, the 3rd chord is the same thing he does the 1st time. The 3rd time he does this, and then he does this most of the time after this. He goes. He does everything exactly like he did the very first time, except for hitting the instead of the high E with the ring finger, he's hitting the 3rd fret of the high E with his pinky. So the very first one was. Second one is. 3rd one is. I think he does that, and I think he does that until the very last one, and then I think the very last one he goes back to this. Okay, and again, listen to the song for the different variations. The next one is you're going to do in this part. I have a theory here, okay? Here's a theory, this is a really good bonus. Ben Coker taught me this. He's one of the best guitar players I know. I mean, he is the best guitar player I know. And he taught me this. He said, a lot of times you're trying to figure out songs, you want to do, people aren't going to come up with usually complicated stuff on their own. They're going to come up with stuff that's probably a logical, simple way to do it. And to me, this, like with Eddie Van Halen, when you learn his stuff, a lot of times you'll look at it and it's symmetric and it makes sense, and it's not as hard as, it's hard, but it's not as hard as some people try to make it with them, try getting the different notes. On this one, could be another example of this. Like on this part, you could do it like this. Okay, you're hitting the A minor, which is your pointer finger on the 1st fret of the the B, your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A, your ring finger on the 2nd fret of the D. And then you could take your fingers, put your pointer finger over all the G, the D, G, B, and E on the 7th fret. And then take your pointer finger or your middle finger, put it on the 2nd fret of the B, and take your ring finger and put it on the 3rd. Put your pointer finger over all 7 of those. 7th fret of the 4 strings I just mentioned, the G, the D, the G, B, and the E. Take your middle finger and put it over the 8th fret of the B, and then take your ring finger and put it on the 9th fret of the D. The G. Sorry, the G. And then the next one is, you basically take the A and put it to a, you move it up to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets from the original A minor. And that is, you basically have your pointer finger on the 6th fret of the B, you got your middle finger on the 7th fret of the D, and then you got your ring finger on the 7th fret of the G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. And so that sound looks like this. But see, back to the simple thing, what I think you might do is this. It's the A minor, slides it up 8 to the 8th fret. Okay, well, I actually have the 8th fret, so he takes the A minor, okay, and puts it up to the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, slides it up 5 or 6 frets, where your pointer finger's on the. I mean, it's the same exact shape as the A minor. So you got your pointer finger on the 6th fret of the B, and your ring finger on the 7th fret of the D, and your ring finger on the 7th fret of the G, your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D. And then what he could do, because that's the shape of the A, I mean, it would make sense to do that. But then take your pinky and put it on the 8th fret of the B. And then just remove it for the next chord. So in other words, it's a lot easier. It makes sense logically why he would do that. Take the A minor, do an extension of that A minor, which includes this. It just makes sense. It's easy and it makes sense. So I'm going to do it that way. I mean, it might not do it that way, but to me that makes sense. And this will help you in the next part too. So that's. Either way, you can do it either way. But to me, it makes sense that he might have logically figured it out that way. And then maybe he changed it to this chord eventually. I mean, who knows what you did really? But I'm just thinking, usually people come up with things that make sense logically, and there's kind of a reason. There's a logic behind coming up with some of this stuff. And this logic makes perfect sense to me. Even though I don't know if he did it for sure, it still sounds close enough to write where I don't think anybody else will notice if you do it this way. I mean, it might even be the way he does it. But again, if he does this, it's fine. I just think it's a lot easier. Alright, so anyway, so that's the next part. The next part is, okay, this is the part leading up to the fourth part, the third part. So it goes like this. This is exactly that A minor thing again. This one I'm pretty sure he does it just like this, even though the tabs I found don't show it this way. Again, a lot of times when people come up with the tabs, they do chord, and again, I could be totally wrong, but this is just my opinion. Sometimes when they come up with the tabs, they can make it more complicated and use different notes that are close enough, the same chords and everything, but they miss the logic behind the lick in the first place. So this one, for instance, he does this. He goes. And all that is the A minor shape, moving it up to where your pointer finger's on the 8th fret of the B, and your ring finger is on the 9th fret of the G, and your middle finger's on the 9th fret of the D. 9, 10, 11, 12, yeah. So let's take that A minor shape. You just pick down with your thumbs. Your thumb, A. Your thumb is on the A. You pick the A with your thumb. You pick the D with your pointer finger. Pick the G with your middle finger, and pick the B with your ring finger. And that's the pattern. You just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so he takes that A minor, moves it up to, like I said a second ago, moves it down 2 frets, where the other one was, then adds that extension that we were talking about that does this. And so he plays those, he pucks, same plucking with your fingers, and then takes the pinky off. And so that chord, like I said, is an A minor, so you basically have your pointer finger on the 6th fret of the B, you got your middle finger on the 7th fret of the D, and your ring finger on the 7th fret of the G. And you have on the first time around, you have your pinky on the 8th fret of the B. Second time, you take it off. See how it makes total logical sense? A minor just slides it up and down to plus a little extension for the parts, rather than, again, the tabs I'm looking at are like, I don't even know where they got it. I mean, it sounds pretty much like it, but again, the logic behind it just makes a lot of sense to me. So here's how it sounds again. Okay, and then it just does the same chords, just like it's an A minor. And again, these are the exact same chords I showed you a second ago. So you got the A minor, then you put your pointer finger on the 1st fret of the B string, you got your ring finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, and you got your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the E string. And I think he might even have his pinky on the 3rd fret of the high E. So. Then he has the 3rd chord. The next one is, it's the same chord, that 3rd chord. Just put your pointer, again, your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the E, your ring finger on the 2nd fret of the G, and your pinky on the 3rd fret of the B. Now I looked at one of the tabs, and they said put your pinky on the 2nd fret of the high E instead of the 3rd fret of the B. You can do either one. So. Or. You do the same half thing. Your pointer finger's on the 1st fret of the E, and your ring finger, your middle finger's on the 1st fret of the B, and your ring finger is on the 2nd fret of the G, and then the E. So. The major, E major, open E, pointer finger on the 1st fret of the G, and your ring finger on the 2nd fret of the A, and your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A, and your ring finger on the 2nd fret of the G. Then it repeats. And you can do, you can take off your pinky on the A if you want to. I don't know if he does it or not. And you want to listen to the song to get the pattern right. And that is the song. So if you like this video, again, please feel free to subscribe. And thank you so much for watching, and have a great day jamming with Led Zeppelin. Thank you for watching.